Ladies and gentlemen, today we are working on the Ultra B. Nothing cosmetic today. We're going to the next level. What you're looking at here is a Torp TC1000. So this is an upgraded controller for the Ultra B. Allows you to pull more power from the stock battery, and then also it's compatible with if you want to upgrade your battery. Install is fairly simple with the Torp. It's definitely a little bit easier than the EBMX X9000 because you're using all your OEM controls. So everything gets plugged in. There's no wires left unplugged. The most complicated thing is getting just the correct colors hooked up right onto here. They give you a quick start guide. You can't really mess it up. What you notice is I don't have a battery here because I don't have the upgraded battery yet. I do have one of the Mamba Jambas on order, the big boys. That's going to be here probably next week. It's going to be good because I'll be able to run my stock battery with the TC1000 to give you guys my honest feedback of how the bike performs. And then once I get the battery, I'll run you guys through all that. All right, well, enough rambling. Let's jump into it. Time lapse time. One thing that's interesting is how small the Torp is compared to the stock controller. It's definitely a little bit lighter. It's amazing how this can handle more power than this big unit. We are all buttoned up. Phase wires attached, power wires attached, heat sink bolted to the actual controller, heat sink bolted to the frame, to the skid plate. Install is fairly straightforward. There is a 3D box, like a 3D printed box on the Torp harness, and it fits behind here, and there's not a lot of clearance back there because you have a module on the back of this plate. That box wants to sit right where that module is, so you have to kind of play with it and move it around so you can get this plate to sit flush so your battery isn't too tight or, you know, it's not cockeyed in there. But yeah, pretty straightforward. I'm gonna go get the stock battery, plug it in, and then run the calibration, then mess around with the tunes and go give it a ride. All right, so we got everything updated. If you go to update firmware, it'll show you controller display wiring. If there is an update for one of them, there'll be a little red circle next to them. There's nothing here, we just updated it. So now we're gonna go into calibration. We're gonna select which bike it is, Ultra B. Okay. Now we'll hit calibrate. I had to go get the box because you need the Bluetooth password for this. Okay. This is where you'll want the bike on the stand because that rear wheel needs to calibrate now. So it's going to be moving. We'll continue. Calibrating encoder. All right, motor detection completed successfully. Next, I think I gotta do the throttle. Slowly twist the throttle all the way and release. Let's go do that. Okay, next. Twist the throttle slightly and see if the wheel motor is spinning in the right direction. Yes. Finish and save. All right, saving calibration. All right, we're good now. Miles per hour, Fahrenheit, sprocket ratio. I'm gonna put it up to what I have, a 54 sprocket. Wheel diameter, I'm gonna have to measure that. All right, I'm gonna measure this wheel so I can get an accurate measurement, and then I'll update the app. Okay, we got everything hooked up. We're gonna go do the first ride on it. I know there's probably gonna be tuning that has to be done, so let's see what we're working with before we go set off. The Torp app allows you to change the motor current, and you guys don't have to worry about the app. It's going to protect your bike. It's not going to allow you to do something that the bike doesn't or the motor can't handle. So if you look, like my battery current is 185 amps. I'm running the stock battery, and so it only lets me max it out to 185. And then RPM, this is kind of your governor. I'm just going to leave that at an unlimited. Field weakening, I'm not sure what that is, so I'm going to leave that at 0 amps. Throttle settings, you can change the throttle curve, throttle response. Okay, maybe it doesn't like that. I'm going to go back to where it was. Dial this back a little bit. Alright, that seems to save. Alright, we're just going to do it on sport. Dead zone, I'm going to leave that where it is. Okay. We're going to try this. Let's see how it goes. Oh, God. Yeah, it's way more peppy. Wow. Oh. The throttle's a little too snappy. Like, that's right at the engagement point, and it's a little too snappy there. Let's try to adjust this. Alright, so let's turn the throttle curve back to 0. Alright, that feels way better. And I gotta dial in all the settings on this bike. Definitely faster. Significantly faster. Okay, I'm gonna turn the throttle curve up just a little bit. We're already down to 95%. Okay, the top speed's definitely faster. Alright, that top speed's
definitely faster. I think I saw 57 on it. On the stock controller, I was getting about 45, maybe max speed. So instantly with the same setup, just an upgraded controller, the top speed is much higher. And obviously my top speed is limited because I have a 54 tooth sprocket. So if you're running a smaller sprocket, you're gonna get a higher top speed. It pulls so much smoother and faster than the stock controller. The throttle response is really good on it. And it's not even really dialed in. I mean, this is kind of just me messing around with settings, but there's no dead zone to the throttle. The stock throttle, it's like there's nothing, and then it starts going. This is a very linear, and I'm also on a pretty aggressive throttle setting right now. But for the most part, it's pretty tame. I can't wheelie, so sorry guys. That's as good as you're gonna get, especially in crops and shorts. Yeah, this feels really good. I'm super impressed by just the controller upgrade. I mean, the downside to not doing the battery and just doing the controller is you can't tap into all the potential. And then also, if you're running higher specs on battery current, voltage, and stuff like that, you're gonna drain your stock battery pretty quick. Which that's why, until I get my stock battery, I'm probably just gonna run, that bird almost got smoked. Until I get my stock battery, I'm just gonna run like a pretty moderate tune. I don't know what it is about a controller, but it also makes the bike feel way smoother. Like, it's like the power delivery is way cleaner. Nice and fast. God damn. Alright. I am pleasantly surprised with how nice this is with just the stock power. I mean, honestly, if you don't want to get a battery, you don't have to. This controller is going to make the bike feel way faster, and you also can customize all this stuff. The only downside to not getting the upgraded battery is you miss out on range of having more amp hours. But it's a great first step, right? If you guys want to upgrade your power, start with a controller, and then either wait and find a good deal on an upgraded battery or buy a used upgraded battery and just go from there. Because this completely changes the power of the bike, the stock power of the bike with just a controller. My consumption rate's good. It's actually really good. So that's actually what I've been seeing. So I've been getting I did 4.2 miles and I'm down to 85%, which is actually really good. That's on par with what I've been seeing with my stock controller and stock power. So it doesn't look like I'm having too much consumption, even with everything maxed out. And granted, I wasn't, wide open the whole time, but I definitely did a bunch of pulls. See how nice it pops up. Oh yeah, that's so nice. It just feels so good. There's no dead zone anymore. That's the nicest part. There's no choppy throttle. Yeah, okay guys, I recommend this. especially for the price. I mean, if you're looking to get a little bit of power upgrade to your bike and having the customization ability to do things, a controller is definitely worth the money. Because you can even get an eBMX one, which the Torp's a little bit more expensive right now, because I guess it's newer, but they're going to do the same thing. I mean, right, you're going to have full customization over the tuning. I think the Torp is a little bit easier to use and set up and configure. The eBMX takes a little bit more work, just in terms of, like, it's just a little bit more complex from my experience. But for $1,400 or whatever this retails at, $1,500, this is a great way to increase the power on your bike and then wait to upgrade the battery. Okay, well, that's my first ride, first impressions of the Torp TC1000. Huge shout out to Puget Sound Motorsports. He did give me a discount for you guys as well. So if you guys want to pick up one of these, go click the link in the description. In the next one, I'll have the upgraded battery. I'll give you my thoughts on how it's been, because I won't get it till next week. I'm going to do a few rides on it this weekend and this week. So I'll have a good understanding of how the stock battery works with the aftermarket controller. Give you guys my thoughts on that, and then I'll give you my thoughts on when I get the big Mamba Jamma in there and we see how wild and ludicrous that thing is. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one.